Hey everyone, it's Rob from Hypop and welcome back to another video. In this one, we have a brand new flash from Godox. This is the newly released Godox AD300Pro II flash. So for those of you that don't know, we are a Sydney, Australia-based photographic equipment retailer. So we sell brands such as Godox, and we get relatively early access to some of these new launches here, such as the Godox AD300Pro II. Here, this is just an updated version of the popular AD300. And if you know previous models, Godox has released Mark II versions of their AD series just recently, including the AD600 Mark II, the AD200 Mark II, and also the AD400 Mark II. So this is the next one here that's been released. To almost complete the full range, we're likely to see an AD100 Mark II and maybe even AD1200 Mark II. Unsure about that one yet. But this one here is the latest one that's just been released. Let's take a look at what's inside. So, as we open the box here, we've got a nice updated carry pouch. This one here is a slightly different design than the original one. We've got some white Godox branding here on the front, sort of just like ironed on there or hot transferred on. And this padded case here, it's sort of like a firm, rigid padded case, has a somewhat diamond pattern on it. You've got some orange accents on the zipper. Let's look at what's inside. You've got some inserts here that help keep everything contained, especially when they're in the right positions. Our previous model also had these cutouts here for all the different positions. First, we've got the user guide. We've got the battery. This is the Godox WB300P, so there's been no changes to that. You've also got a USB Type-C charger. This is a power delivery charger that's USB Type-C to charge the battery. You've got an adapter here. This is a USB Type-C adapter, so it's a C to C for the charging. You've also got a USB Type-C to C cable. And this is that tilt bracket that's included with the flash. This is the AD-E2 tilt bracket. This tilt bracket mounts with a 1/4 inch thread on the top, and it also has an umbrella mount here. Allows you to tilt the flash, obviously, and mount this onto a light stand. This is stepless, so there's no sort of teeth there to catch on for each step. So that's something to take note of. It's made from a metal design, so it is quite rigid. And of course, the brand new flash. This is the AD300 Mark II. So this is the AD300 Mark II on a little tabletop stand here. And the changes that we've seen with the other AD series models have flowed through to this model here as well. So the AD200 Mark II, 400, and also the 600 Mark II, all have had similar changes, and those include the LED group indicator lights now. So these change color depending on the group that the flash is on. You also have an updated LED modeling light. It's now bicolor. For the AD300 Mark II, this is now a 12-watt LED light, and it can go from bicolor between 2800 Kelvin to 6500 Kelvin. You also have a freeze mode on this flash. So that means that the flash duration of the flash is improved once you enable freeze mode, and that can be all the way up to 1/224,320 seconds. So it's a relatively fast flash duration there. You also have the one-touch sync to Godox's X3 trigger system. This includes the X3 and also the brand new X3 Pro. So you're able to, instead of dialing in your group and channel manually, you can press that one-touch sync, and that'll all sync up nicely with the trigger. We also have updated steps of output, so you can go all the way from 1/1 or full output down as low as 1/512. So that's great if you want to get into those fine-tuning power options for a flash. And all the other things relatively remain the same, which is good. So what we've seen with these Mark II updates are that they are incremental changes, or they have been somewhat quality of life improvements with these flashes. So the main things that have remained the same include the battery. So this is the WB300P. So if you do have an older battery that is still this same model from the AD300 the first version, that will likely work. One little fun fact about these batteries are that they can actually work in the AD200 and the AD200 Mark II, because they are actually technically about the same size. The main difference here is just the plate on the front here doesn't land as flush on the AD200s because it is made for the design on the 300 Pro here to be nice and flush. And that goes vice versa. So the AD200 Pro Mark II batteries, the WB29s, they can also work in the AD300 Pro series. So that's just really if you're in a pinch and you only have those batteries around, they can work for you as well. Now the things that remain the same about the AD300 Pro Mark II include that the battery still gives you 350 full power shots when fully charged. It also has that high speed sync up to 1/8,000th of a second, and you get a 1.5 second recycle time at full output. And if you're using it not at full output, of course, you'd likely get more flashes out of that as well. So let's jump into the menu just to see how we can operate the AD300 Pro Mark II. Firstly, you've got the power button here on the bottom right, which also doubles up as a test fire button. So let's just hold that down. And the first thing you see is rotate down to unlock. And that means this scroll wheel here, that's just a safety mechanism to prevent you from accidentally turning this on and draining your battery perhaps. So you've got your scroll wheel here down at the bottom. And this scroll wheel also doubles up as a set button or an enter button. So when we jump in the menu, I'll show you how to use that. But you can see you can scroll all the way down to 1/512 output, all the way up to 1/1 in 0.1 step increments. So going down as low as that, we can shoot off a few test fires. And you've got the mode button here and cycling between your different modes. You've got multi, TTL, and also manual. Now you can see the group here is on A and it's a red color, and what you'll see is the group LED indicator lights on either side here are red and that match. And if we were to change that, for example, if we were to change it to say a different group, such as group B, what we'll just see when we get back into the main screen here is that B is green and the LED lights have also changed green. Now this is great if you have multiple lights positioned and you don't have viewing access to the back screen here. You'll be able to see on either side of the light here that it's currently on group B just based on the color. And on the top right here, we've got the modeling light, and the modeling light has 3 modes. You've got off, free, and also proportional. So on off, obviously we've just got that turned off. On free, you have free range on controlling this modeling light from 0 to 100%. And you can also change the color temp from 6,000 Kelvin down to 2,800 Kelvin or a warm tone, as you can see here. Now lastly is proportional. So if we just jump down into proportional, this changes, you can select the color temp, but this changes as it increases or decreases depending on the flash output. So when we head back into mode and as we increase the output of the flash, the actual light itself increases, the LED modeling light increases as well. So at 1/1, it's at its full output there of 12 watts. Now jumping into the menu, we've got a few different things here. We've got the wireless mode. You can see it's currently on. You can turn that off. And the main reason you'd turn that off is because, well, if you're using the sync port on the side here, there is a sync port to use a traditional plug-in trigger, or you've got the IR sensor here if you're wanting to use this in slave mode. And you've got channel, so you can select your channel there, and group. Now another thing that is often quite overlooked is the ID. The ID is just a third indicator that you can use to differentiate yourself for your wireless settings. So perhaps you're around several Godox shooters who might even be using the default settings, which are channel 21 and group A. And what happens is if you're around those other shooters as well, you might have some interference, or they may be firing your gear, accidentally. And what you can do is either change your channel, or you can also add an ID to it. So your IDs can go from 0 to 99, so you can pick your favorite number there out of that range. And that way, even if they are on channel 21 and group A, they won't be able to control your flash because you've got your ID set. So that's something to take note of with ID. Jumping back into the menu, you've got flash mode. So you've got normal, and you also have freeze mode and color stability mode. So freeze mode, as mentioned prior, you have a faster flash duration, or this unlocks that faster flash duration. And when we head back into mode there, you can see at the lowest output, 1/512, that is a 1/2 24,390 T1 value. So that means your flash duration is as fast as it possibly can be with this unit when you put this in freeze mode and down at its lowest output. Now you also have color stability mode, and that means that the variance between each of the shots, let's just dump this one really quickly. So when you're changing those flash modes, it actually needs it to dump a flash before you can go on with this mode activated. But in color stability mode, it allows you to have less variance with the color temp coming out of the flash from frame to frame. So this reduces the variance down to about 150 Kelvin or less between each frame, which makes it a lot more consistent, especially when you're doing post or you're just wanting to make sure you have color accurate shots and you're taking quite a few frames. From frame to frame, there will be less variance when using color stability mode. You've got Photocell, and this is only used if you're using slave mode, so if you're putting them on S1 or S2. You've got high speed sync, and you can enable this on or off. As soon as you put it on, you can see the flash mode has jumped back to normal. You've got modeling light, so you've got continuous or interval. So that means you can always just have it continuously on as the flash is on, or you can have it only on as it turns off as the flash. Now, when we're looking at the front of the flash, what we can see here is that the flash itself is a Godox mount. So the AD300Pro Mark II is quite a compact flash. It's about just larger than a can of soda, as an example. And the mount here itself is the proprietary Godox mount. So that opens you up to some of Godox's own modifiers. They tend to be cheaper. They include the grids and other accessories like that, whereas some of the other Bowens mount softboxes that they stock, you need to buy the grids separately. So this includes the AD-S series of Godox mounts. You also have some Godox mount accessories for some of the LED lights that are Godox mounts as well. And what you'll find is that some of those little modifiers are quite useful with this particular flash too. So you have a bit of crossover there. Now, if you wanted to use this with Bowens mount modifiers, what you'd need to do is actually use a Godox S2 or the brand new Godox S3 bracket. And that just means that you mount it on the front here because this is a round head, and that will open you up to those Bowens modifiers as well. On the front, you've got a glass protector here for the flash. It's a frosted cap here. So you can see it's got some vents here on the side. This is the same one that's found on the original AD300. And of course, the flash tube. This is a flash tube here that is also the same as the previous model. So if you do have those accessories, that is quite a useful thing that you have a few spares now. And they do work on both units, the Mark I and the Mark II, so they're backwards compatible. So is the AD300Pro Mark II a good upgrade? I do believe it is. So it's actually going to be priced exactly the same. And eventually what will happen is that the original version will be phased out and the Mark II will be the main replacement. And this is what's happening with those previous models, the 200, 400, and 600. And yeah, if you are in the market for a portable flash and you don't have one already, you're not part of Godox's ecosystem, the 300 Pro is actually that good middle ground. So it's enough punch there. It's definitely a lot stronger than a standard speedlight. It's obviously stronger than the 100 and 200 Pros from Godox. And it's sort of still that compact portable light that you're able to put with you even in one of those side carry satchel bags, and it's not one that you have to carry a full-on backpack with. They do sell this in a 2-light kit in a backpack case. So it's one that you can bring an entire lighting setup almost with you, and a lot of punch there, 300 watts of output. The ones larger than that, or the higher output ones, the 400 Pro and 600 Pro, have the capability somewhat to overpower the sun. The 300 Pro may not have that, but that's the trade-off that you have in terms of portability and output. But I feel like it's a great middle ground. For most studio setups, what we do recommend is a 300 or 400 watt flash, and a couple of them at that. So I think that 300 Pro really hits the sweet spot there for, say, someone's first flash. If you're not part of Godox's system, this is a no-brainer. If you are already part of Godox's system, I feel like it's a good upgrade. Maybe if you've been mulling over jumping into a higher powered strobe, maybe you're only dealing with speed lights and the AD200, maybe the 300 would be a good jump or something good to add to the arsenal. Or if you're already with some of those bigger flashes, maybe you just want a small portable setup, and then you can use it with either a Godox mount here or the mount itself has an umbrella mount, so it's a nice portable setup for an on-location light, maybe just the one light setup, and this would be a good one to bring along. So for more videos just like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be updated of any new content we release. Leave a like on the video if it's helped you. Feel free to leave down in the comment section below your thoughts, or if you have any questions about the AD300Pro Mark II, follow us on socials, the links will be down below. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and thanks for watching.